What's going on, people? Welcome back to the John Sinclair TV. Back again tonight. It's the Transfer Show, and tonight I've got two guests, both Newcastle fans. We got to Mr. Sutcliffe and even to Stuart.
How you doing, pal?
I'm all good. I'm all good. And how's things with you? You good?
Yeah, good, mate. Just a busy day, as you know, but yeah, looking forward to this show.
Cool stuff. That's fantastic. Guys, if you like the video, if you like what you see, then please like and subscribe. Also, super chats are open, and if you'd like to become a member, it's just 99p. And hi to GTV. I hope you're good. Hi to Leslie, and please like and share to the socials as well. Support this growing channel. Thank you very much, Miss Stapleton. And let's go on to more. Super chat's available bottom right corner for just 99. Thank you very much indeed. Even to Aaron, welcome to the chat, mate. Yeah, we're going to talk about Guler's goal. It was absolute beauty, wasn't it? Wow. Let's go on to I Like Coffee. Hi to I Like Coffee. Hope you're having a great evening, mate. And happy birthday to I Like Coffee. Many happy returns. And I shall let Macy know as well. Leslie said hi to Ian. Yesterday. Back to Gareth Cooper. Hi to Gareth. Hope you're good and hope you're having a good day. And hi to Leslie again saying happy birthday. It's I Like Coffee's happy birthday today. So we're going to talk about the transfer. Sure, the names are being linked with Newcastle United on a regular basis, and there's too many to mention as well. And made no signings this yet. So the first we're going to talk about, I'll start with you, Stuart. He scored a wonder goal yesterday against Wales. Is Arda Guler for Fenerbahce, and he's got a market value of 15 million quid. He's a young lad, 18 years of age, Turkish international already, and he's got 20 appearances for the Turkish capital club, 4 goals, 4 assists. This guy, he is absolutely hot property.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the goal myself, but I heard that we were linked with him a few months ago, and I had a look at some YouTube videos. He looks special. He looks like a fantastic player. Definitely fits into the age profile that we are going to be going for as a club. I'm not sure. I think he must have a bit of European experience as well, being at Fenerbahce. So yeah, let's see if it materializes. I just feel that this week everyone and their granny's been linked with Newcastle, and it seems to be that journalists are just putting a finger in the air. They're picking names, they're taking guesses at who might be linked with us and who we're actually interested in. So yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, this guy is absolutely amazing. And you know what? I mean, he's such a talent, 18 years old. Like I said, he's been linked with Arsenal as well. And if we want to get this guy, the best thing to do is, I think this guy could be an absolute world beater. They call it the Turkish Messi. And the thing is, right, Ian, right? We don't want to compare to other players, you know what I mean? We just want to be original, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he looks class. Again, you know, like everyone else, I've only really seen him on YouTube videos, apart from against Wales, and he looked quality. But I only watched the highlights, to be honest. I didn't watch the full match, but the bits that I saw when he was on the ball, he looked sound on the ball. His goal was an absolute worldie. You know, he moves well with the ball. I can see where the comparisons come from, because he's got a low center of gravity and he moves around. He's just like glides around, you know, like he's a quality player. I was reading earlier today that he did have, like, there was sort of a really low release clause tied to him. I don't know whether it was based on appearances or something, but now it's or whether it was just a contract thing. But now the talk is it's 20 million. 20 million pounds, so what that, like, whatever, 25 million euros is what some of the papers are saying now for him. Yeah. But even at that price, he's you know, he's well worth a go, 100%. So yeah, no, I really like him. I really like the look of him. Again, it's one of those, you know, he could probably walk into a squad place, not necessarily a first team place, but certainly a squad place, and break his way through without having to go on a loan, which is why I'd be interested in him myself. Because he would be, for me, he'd start as a squad player, but once he got in, from the look of him, you wouldn't be getting him out again, you know. So yeah, no, really excited if he came on board. But I think there's a lot of players, a lot of teams, sorry, after the player, you know. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. It's exciting times, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, he's left-footed, he's an attacking midfielder, and he can play central mid, he can play on the right-hand side, you know, and his goal participation's 9%, 28 minutes average, 31% starting 11, really is more like a sub as well. And like I said, this guy is hot property in Turkish football, and the Fenerbahce loves him. And I tell you what, we need this guy. We got to get him very quickly. I like his movement, I like his skill, I like his style, and you know what it is, right? I mean, he could do take over ASM's place if needs to be, but you don't put pressure on Stu on an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah. I mean, I think. So, what age is he? He's 18.
18.
Yeah. So he's obviously got his best years ahead of him. I think just what Ian said, it would be a great addition to the squad to have a guy like this around. If he's half the player that Emery was, then I'll be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. And according to question for you, Ian from Leslie, how's your charitable event going?
Really good, actually. Yeah, thanks for asking, Les. I've Staples. Sorry. I've got now. Can I mention other podcasts? Was that all right? Ones that you know, ones that you're friends with.
Got it, yeah.
Yeah. So Steve Race kindly given us an Alan Shearer ball. I sorted out an Alan Shearer ball for us to auction. I've got a Newcastle United 22-23, or is it 21-22? It's one. Anyway, it's a signed top, framed, and Paul at Toon Review has donated a framed John Joe Shelby shirt for us to auction. So we're auctioning those things. Possibly one other thing, not an auction, sorry. We're going to raffle them off at some point. So I'll be looking to jump on with John at some point and see if we can get anybody to pay £5 for a ticket. And we're looking to raise as much money as possible. The target, it's for, it helps if I tell you what it's for. It's for the cricket club that I play for youth infrastructure. So we get about 80 kids, something like that, through the system. Last year there was 80. I don't know what the numbers are this year, but it'll be somewhere around that every year. And just to keep the facilities up and running and make sure that we can keep them playing cricket. And it's a small village club, but it's a good place. And we've got a football pitch there as well at the moment. There's no Stamford Football Club, so I know we're in talks at the moment with to get a football team up and running there. So it's going to be it's basically a sports playing field and a really nice place to be. And there's a bar there as well if anybody likes a drink. So yeah, it's good thing. And yeah, it's going well. Thanks very much, Staples, for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to the points there as well, Ian. Go back to Guler. He's left foot attack mid player. He can operate on the right side, cut inside, use a stronger foot to make shooting chances, and creates decisive passes to the final third. And I'm not going to read it all out anyway. And his contribution's really good. He's modern day hard-working midfielder with good defensive contributions. I can even play as a pivotal player or central midfield. And this guy, you know what it is, right? I mean, he's 18 years old, right? Let's hope we don't get another Mesut Ozil on our hands. You know what I mean? I think this guy's going to even be better than Mesut Ozil as well, Stuart.
I don't know. I think Mesut Ozil was a great player in his day.
Yeah,
he was absolutely fantastic at points. I think his career maybe ended on a bit of a low after some of the things that had happened at Arsenal. But you know, if he's half the player that Ozil was in his prime, then we'll be laughing.
I think with him, it was more of an attitude problem on it, you know, rather than a talent. He was a massive talent, but he for me just didn't look like he was trying. Whereas this kid looks, you know, obviously he's 18, so you can't read too much into it. But he's got all the talent in the world, so it's up to him. But if we were lucky enough to get him in, I could see Eddie Howe would polish him, you know, into a real diamond. You know, he'd be a quality addition to the squad, definitely.
Yeah, it's how you manage these guys. It's how you introduce them to the squad. I think Howe's management skills have been really shown as a strength. Certainly in that last season there, you saw, you know, the small issue with Gordon when he came on and then he got brought back off. It was just dealt with the next day and there wasn't any backlash from it. So, you know, I trust Eddie Howe to manage any of these kind of difficult characters and definitely get the best out of them. So agreed, Ian.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we go talk about Tchouameni, right, I'm going to mention this name as well. I mean, guys, would you take Guler? Yes or no? I would definitely take him, yeah, for the future. This guy's going to be such a talent. Let's go on to some comments. Please get them comment in, please. Hi to Anna Little. I missed you as well, mate. And also hi to Kate as well. And let's go on to Paul Storms. Ian, and I'm glad Jordan and Buddha are both starting tonight for themselves. Thank you for that information, Paul. I really appreciate that. And it'll take Biggie's place in a crack. That's it for Aaron. You never know. You never know. And even to JK, I hope you're great as well. And what time's the kickoff? I don't know for that Brazil game. I'm sure Paul found 8 p.m. 8 p.m. And Johnson to Les. And let's go some more as well. And even to Alan again. Did you see the news from the Spanish reporter, Gerardo Romero, that we're doing a sock deal on Bruno for Rafinha? Let me just be clear on this, like, mate. Right? I did a video of it last night. That would never happen, yeah? It's pure lazy BS dualism from the guy, yeah? Bruno Guimaraes is not leaving. He's not going anywhere. This guy, and I said it last night, I say it now, he wants to win things at Newcastle United. He wants to be a legend there. He wants to be idolised at Newcastle United, yeah? There's absolutely no way that swap deal's never going to happen. Rafinha, if he wants to be bought, buy him solely. We want to build a team. We want to build a team around Bruno Guimaraes, yeah? Not destroy it. Ian.
You don't even want me to say what I think about that, John, because we're not allowed to swear on here. I think you summed it up. It's a load of bull BS. You know, absolute, just, that's just ridiculous. It's not even worth a comment. You know, it's just rubbish, isn't it? So...
The thing is, though, who's writing this shite and crap? Sorry, who's writing this
got
crap?
you.
You know what I mean? I'm not being funny, right? But it's just pure lazy journalism, right? They got no better to do, right? Is he a new journalist, Stu? I don't know if he's a new.
No, I think it was somebody. I'm not on Twitter, as you know, because I hate Twitter. But I
know you do.
From what I heard, I think it was somebody who I think it was a Spanish journalist who's got a lot of, like, 500,000 followers or something like that. So it is somebody of profile.
Is it Fabrizio Romano?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't somebody in the chat.
Alvaro Moreno.
That's ringing a bell, yeah. But
he's in with your base.
It's just going to be. It's just somebody stirring the pot in it, you know. Like, and the worst thing you can do is give it clicks, because it's just a lot of rubbish in it. So just. It's not going to happen. We know it's not going to happen. So, end of story.
What about you, Stu? We used to take on that about this ridiculous swap deal. I tell you what, that ain't going to happen. Do you know what? I can see it, right? It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I was saying last week? I think that the reality is that 99% of the things that journalists are printing at the moment are not going to happen. You know, if we get Guler, if we get guys like Tchouameni, Mane, I'd be shocked if we get any of these guys, frankly, because people are just picking names out of the air. They're writing stories about it. The journalists have absolutely zero insight of what Dan Ashworth's up to, of the profile player that we actually need this summer. And that one was pretty laughable. You know, the rest have been realistic to some extent. You know, I could see us getting a guy like Guler fits the profile. But yeah, why someone like Guimaraes would be worth less than Rafinha, and the fact
when Rafinha was Rafinha 40 million, and he's been basically pretty much a failure this season, and Bruno was basically 40 million, just less, I think, slightly less money than 40 million to us, and he's been a massive success. You know, so what does that value if it's him and 30 million? What does that value him at? 130 million. It's a joke. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a joke.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly wouldn't be the. I think the story would be more believable, not necessarily realistic, but more believable if it was them offering 30 million plus Rafinha for Bruno. But
yeah, would still say no.
But you know, Bruno's not going to leave. There's absolutely zero chance that he's coming for one season. He's settled in well. He's got his whole family have moved to the area. They are almost new celebrities in Newcastle. So there's going to be, he wants to experience the Champions League. He wants to get involved in the big games this season. He probably won't be here forever. I think that's granted. But this summer's definitely too early for him to go.
You know, his son's a Geordie as well. He's already said Mattio's a Geordie how many times. He's going to sign a new contract. He'll probably sign a 5-year contract. He'll probably do 3 years of it and then he'll move on. And that'll be fine because in 3 years, what will he be? 28, something like that? 27, 28? Yeah. And that'll be the right time for him to move. Not necessarily to move on to a better club, but to a different club and experience something different. You know, to a Real Madrid or somewhere like that. You can understand he'd want to go and try and play his game in another country for a big super club, you know. That's fine. But the chances of him moving, I think he'll sign a new contract and we've got him for another 3 years. And if we win something, you never know what's going to happen, you know. If we win something major, he might just do what a lot of players have done and fall in love with the club and stay here. But I would expect him and I would send him away. If he stayed 3 years and gave us 3 years of what he's given us up to now, I would send him away with a big hug and say good luck. You know, he's a great player to have on the pitch, and he's a lovely bloke. And so that's my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. And look, he's going nowhere, absolutely nowhere. Simple as that. And got some more comments as well. There were Barca fans who look the Bruno news seriously. Took the Bruno news seriously. Wow. Lads, would you say Kevin Phillips? No, Calvin Phillips. If City lets him go.
Don't want to back him, do we?
No.
The pace of the game would be just too quick for him today. Calvin Phillips. Would I take him? I'd like to take Calvin Phillips in the CDM. However, I think he'll stay at Man City because he wants to fight first place. Chronicle today linking tentatively with Antonio Robinson, the left back of Fulham. I like the guy. I think he's quick. I think he's a good tackler. And he's a proper left back for me. But I don't think he'll leave London. And I don't think he'll leave Fulham either. So he's on a long-term contract. I don't think he'll go anywhere, Leslie, in my opinion. So I'd say I'll be amazed if he got him. But I think he's a decent player. I would add Calvin, but he came out today saying he's staying at City. That's Paul. That's exactly my thoughts as well. Hi, Kate. Where's Newcastle United going to buy new players? Wish you would hurry up from Keir and Jonathan Kate. The transfer window early just opened. I can understand your frustrations. Yeah, but there's still time. But I'd love to get players in before pre-season. So we'll see on that one.
Contrary to popular belief, I think we're going to sign the majority of the players we sign are going to come from Europe rather than from the Premier League. And that window doesn't open until the 1st of July. So I can, and it's just, I haven't got a clue. I don't know anybody. I'm not I've not got any inside information. It's just a feeling that when you look at the players that we've signed that have been major successes, a lot of them have come from the continent and the best deals have come from there. Obviously Trippier's English, but he did come from the continent. And you look at the players that we've got in from France, with Bruno, Botman, they're the best value signings that we've had up to now. And they've walked straight into the Premier League without any issues, So I think that's where we're going to be targeting. So I would expect come the start of first week in July, we might see a bit of activity there where we get 2 or 3 players in and then it might die off. Similar to last summer. If you remember, we sort of had, I think it was 2 or 3 signings fairly quickly, didn't we? And then we had to wait, So it's all guesswork. I'm going to clue myself really, but that's what I'd imagine would happen.
Yeah. And Stu, what's your take on it? You got to agree with Ian there. I think it's absolutely right. We need to be patient. It'll come. The signings will come.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think this week we've had internationals. The profile of player that we're going to be going for are probably either internationals, full internationals, or they'll be playing for the under-21s at the Euro Championship at the moment.
Really good point.
There's not going to be any discuss. There's unlikely to be any signings, as Ian said, before the 1st of July. In an ideal world, you would want them in for pre-season. So I think that starts probably a few days after the 1st of July, maybe a weekend to July. But yeah, we need to be patient. There's absolutely no urgency. If you look at guys like Gordon, he came in, he made somewhat of an impact, I would say, last season. There's definitely way more to come from him. But it's really important that we get guys like that getting a full pre-season, and he will. Keep guys like Isak fit. I think a lot of the signings I said last week are probably going to be complementary squad players, because the guys that got us to 4th in the league last season, they'll probably be the same guys starting in the 23-24 season too. They deserve their shot.
I agree.
Absolutely. Also, Josh Griffiths, goalkeeper, 18 years old at West Brom, as third choice keeper behind Pub and Dubs. I don't know anything about this Josh Griffiths, Lester. I have no idea who he is. I never watched him play it. And we're definitely going to take a check on him, keep do a scouting report on this guy.
I heard something about that today. If it's the same one that Staples is on about, I think it was something on TalkSport when I was driving around, that there was West Brom fans were kicking off that we're going around and stealing all the young players. And I thought, well, there's plenty of other teams that have done that for the last 20 years. If you look at the likes of Chelsea and Man City, and now we've just happened to sign 2 or 3 players who are 18-year-old. It's all kicking off, I don't know whether I'm right on that one, but I remember it was I remember the reference was West Brom fans kicking off or not being happy about Newcastle. So I'm presuming it was that.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But at the end of the day, right? I mean, we've already got a goalkeeper, sort of thing. Me personally, we need another goalkeeper. If Carriers decides to be moved on, and Gillespie as well, but Gillespie's on a new 1-year deal. So
Carriers has been offered a contract as well, hasn't he?
Yeah,
that's the talk. Yeah,
that's the talk. But this is in Italy as well, so she doesn't move to England because she's got pregnant. So getting a new Ben. So he's got a difficult decision to make there, Loris Barouia. So let's hope he makes the right decision as well for his career. And if I was him, then be close to your girlfriend. And if an Italian club comes for you, go for it. It makes me laugh when we were supposed to be linked with Maguire. I would rather have Titus Bramble. John, I'd rather have Harry Styles, mate. Do you know what I mean? And Maguire. Do you know what I mean? So if he's available, Harry Styles, I'll take him. He's just got all the styles. Should tell that strategy portal who swap Ryan Fraser for Rafinha. I tell you what, I tell it all day long. Hi to you, Time and Tide. I hope you're good. I'm absolutely fine. Hope you are too. Building team around Bruno, we need another player off his level. Team was waiting when he was missing. That's very, very true. Anyone thinks that Maxi does want to leave, then maybe a bid from Saudi might happen. Do you know what it is? If a Saudi club came in for ASM, would you accept it? Stu?
Probably not. I think Maxi's got a lot to give the team. He was instrumental in a few games last season. I think he was brilliant at the start. He obviously got a few injuries throughout, which held him back. I really like Maxi. I think he's another guy that's settled in Newcastle. The fans love him. I think he probably deserves one more season to prove himself. And if he can do it this year, he might be one of these guys that can really turn it on in the European stage. It's a different style of football to playing in England, and he gives us a different dynamic down the left. So I would definitely I'd keep him unless there was a silly bid from Saudi that was maybe some kind of inside bid. But would he want to play in Saudi? I don't know. I wonder I do wonder how long Ruben Neves will last there. If it's maybe a kind of 1 season thing. Obviously, the money's big, but what's the difference between earning, 10 million a year and 50 million? You're still a millionaire. I don't quite understand these guys going out there for an extra few £1,000,000, but we'll see.
Fair enough. Fair comment. It's gone to Russ. Going to Russ. Even into you, mate. Hope you're good. And let's chat to Paul. Hi to you. I'm good. And let's go on to a few comments as well. And agree with ENT. Better value for your money in Europe and beyond. That is from Leslie. I mean, Saudi Arabia. Would you go to Saudi Arabia for the big bucks?
Would I go?
Yeah. For the big bucks.
I would if someone said you can go there for £10 million a year. Definitely I would. But I'm shite at football. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
So no. If it was an offer came in for Maxi, I would prefer us to keep Maxi, to be honest. As Stu said, it's I think he could do something really special in the Champions League. He turns up on the big games. You've seen him against City. He turned him inside out, so I think that Maxi would thrive on that big stage. If a stupid offer came in north of 40 million, 45 million, then you'd have to have a look at it. And I think the club would accept. If a 40 million bid came in for him from anyone, I think they'd accept it. But I don't see that happening personally, and I don't know whether he'd want to go there either. So that's the other thing.
I agree. I think he'll probably stay in Newcastle and just give one more shot this season for the Champions League as well. See what he does there. I mean, he wants a Champions League. This is his chance to prove it. Yeah. I'm sure think Maxi has more to show us, and I think we'll see a better version of him once we get in the bigger names. That's from JK. The Saudis are signing young players to show they signed some young players from Italy. Hi to Luca. Hope you're good. Big Guler. That's a good point. Maxi maybe well suited to Champions League style of player. And Alan got that quick. Let's go into the next transfer market, if you don't mind. Yeah, is Tchouameni for Real Madrid. Now, according to reports, right, I think it's on Sunday, Stu. Right, this is no word of a lie. That Newcastle offered 68 million quid for the French international. Now, his place could be in jeopardy because Jude Bellingham's come in, right, and he's going to play games, and Tony Kroos is still going to be at the club, yeah, and Luka Modric is going to sign a 1-year deal. So that's 3 players covered, and Kevin Vivinia will give it a go as well. But the one's going to be under pressure is Tchouameni. I mean, look, I think he's great by fashion, but is he really going to come to Newcastle United?
I'd say no chance. I think he'll probably want big money. I think the transfer fee would be totally unrealistic. And at that sort of price that you would need to pay for a guy like this, he's not proven in the Premier League. Obviously, he's played in the Champions League. He's played on the big stage internationally. I get that. But I definitely can't see us spending 70 million on a player like that, to be honest. I think that's more sensationalist journalism, to be honest, where we've got a journal trying to sell papers.
Yeah, well, according to Court Offside, right, I'm not going to lie, they're still in the hunt for a midfielder after Madrid snub, right? And listen, at the end of the day, if I could find out what's being said about him, right, he said that Magpies has been linked to a move for Aurelien Tchouameni of Madrid. The 23-year-old French World Cup finalist only arrived in Santiago Bernabeu last summer for Malmouth 80 million fee. There's absolutely no way, right? And I'm not going to lie, there's no way Real Madrid is going to sell it. It's going to send for the same way that they paid. That's number one. Number two, right? Can't see it.
Yeah, I don't think
it's
going to happen. The reports are, I think it was reported that we were willing to pay 68.5 million for him.
Yeah.
He's quality, again, he's not a player that I've studied really. Obviously, I've seen him play and he looks absolute class, but 68.5 million, I think it may be it may be that there's other opportunities for us, like Thuram, for instance, is what, 30 million? Allegedly, he's going to be around 30 million. Who plays that similar role, defensive midfielder role.
So to cut in the end, so to cut in, Kefren Thuram for Nice. He's got a market value of 55 million quid, and that's what Nice want that fee because Liverpool was quoted at that.
Is it? Yeah. Okay, so that's a bit more, but yeah, I don't see it happening one way or another. Anyway, you know, what did they sign him for? They signed him for a lot of money, didn't they? Last year,
they paid the same money. They paid something like 65 million quid with the add-ons as well. And there's no way. There's no way they're going to sell him for 68 million. It's just no way. And these journalists, I'm not going to lie, I have to bring it out there. I have to read it out because some of the journalists over the summer, you're going to get some puppet ones as well. Football London's the worst, right? And Gaucho Mercato is another one. Yeah. Marca, the best of times, based in Spain. A keep, right? Sometimes it's legal, sometimes it's crap. Build in Germany normally gets a spot on. Do you know what I mean? But I tell you something, right? I mean, one of these days, they're just going to laugh. But, I mean, this guy is worth between 80 and 100 mil. He will not go cheap, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I thought they signed him. It might have been euros for nearly like up near the 100 million mark, but I could be wrong. I haven't looked into it. So, but I was just from memory. I remember him being expensive. Like they paid a lot of money. I thought, well, man, you saying that what 70 million pounds is 80 million euros, so that is knocking on for that side of things, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's one that I can't see happening. I think there's other more affordable targets, and you know, even if Thuram is 50 million, you know, there's still 20 million difference there, and that's another player. That's a Guler. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I just it's not one that I can see happening.
I can't see it happening. I don't think we've let him go anywhere. They need him for Champions League. They need him for big competitions as well. They want to regain the Champions League, and he's got to be a part of that as well. I think he's a cracking player. I think he's a decent player. That goal against England scored in the World Cup was absolutely unbelievable. Cracking goal. Dave Clark, big up to you, Dave. Hope you're okay. Watching for Vietnam. Jordy on tour. Fantastic. We're having a good time, mate. If Saudi did come for ASM, it will show us where his head is. Leslie, it's all about the money. The money. It is, isn't it, man? Not a wind up here. Stuart looks like a bold Jordan Henderson. What do you reckon?
He's not a Mackham.
I hope not.
Wow. Yeah, Australia won by a wicket, lads.
No comment.
So, unbelievable. But to be fair, when it really matters, they've done it. Simple as that. Not a one up here. I read that as well. Breaking news. This is from Paul. Saudi. No, I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that at all. Sorry, I'm not going to fall for that at all. He looks a bit like Kevin Phillips. That's from Paul.
Another Mackham.
I'm not. He's a good lad. He's great.
Yeah.
We got a Liverpool fan in here.
What have you done? What have you done, Stu? You're getting pelters here.
You know. It's got all quiet. I'm sure I read somewhere that K. Thuram had an issue with his knees, but I can't remember. Yeah, he played I think it's the last couple of games, and he got injured and didn't play till the end. He missed the rest of the season for that. So he's a decent young player. He's really decent, but Nice wants 55 million quid for the guy, Stu. Being linked to Liverpool and Newcastle.
Yeah, it sounds like
too much.
It sounds like too much money again for someone that's pretty unproven from a Premier League perspective. I don't know if he's got many France caps or, you know, if he's played much in Europe, but I can't see us parting with £50 million for a player like that. When you can get someone like Maddison for 50 million, I think we're much more likely to be going down that route, to be honest.
I'm going to come on to Maddison in a bit. What it is, right? I mean, I'm not going to lie, but you can offer as much money as you want. But if you've got a player like number 6, number 8, right? It's going to come to a point, Ian. I know people say that you're not going to get fleeced, you're not going to get ripped off, yeah. But it's going to come to a point one day right? I'm not going to lie, we're going to have to end up paying for it.
We will pay money, but the thing is, with this window, when you have a look at like all the people that we've been linked with, I know 90% of it's a load of rubbish. 10% of it's probably we are interested, and you know, possibly a couple of percent of that we will actually put a bid in for. But when you look at the options that we've got, there's so many good players out there at the moment. If one, you know, if anyone's taking the mickey, you know, with wages, it'll just be a case of next. Obviously, Maddison's someone that we definitely I think it's confirmed that we've put 2 definite bids in for him and potentially 3. So that is definitely, Maddison's definitely someone we want to go in with, but we're not going to pay £60 million to Leicester. They've not got a chance on, you know, not a chance of getting that money. 40 million, I would imagine, would be probably where it'll end up at, maybe with a few little bits of add-ons or something. So it's all fluid, it's liquid. It's, you know, like when one person moves somewhere, it then opens a door for another person to move somewhere else and vice versa. And we might find that our biggest signings sort of come a little bit down the line when other people have made their moves. You know, I'm hoping Maddison, if it was me, which obviously it isn't because I know nothing about signing players, but if it was me, I would like to see us just put an offer on the table and say, take it or leave it. That's the offer. If the reports are true that Maddison's agreed personal terms, then he's most likely agreed personal terms with Arsenal as well, and it'll just come down to who wants to pay the most, and then eventually what he actually wants. I would hope if we put a decent offer down, a fair offer down, and said take it or leave it, and then Maddison was aware of that if they didn't take it and they were holding out for 60 million, that he would probably just say, listen, play the game. I've stayed here. The last 2 windows, he stayed with them to try and keep them up. They're now down. He's going, whatever happens. They might end up getting 35 million if they don't take an offer, you know. So we'll see anyway. But I think there's a lot of players out there. I don't think we're hamstrung by a lack of choice for players. So if we don't get one, it is literally just next. You know, let's have another. There's plenty of good players that I'd take in every position.
Yeah. Look at this one, the deer out. I mean, I'm not going to mention the channel, but it's a really good channel. But Spurs wanted to buy Davaria for Brentford, £140 million. Now, Spurs are getting cold feet because they're not going to pay that 40 million quid. Reyes come out and said that he's been priced out and a move to Tottenham. Yeah, but it's going to come to a point. It's a case he's going to bring first. If you're going to have that situation reversed to Maddison, Stu, who's going to bring first? Will it be Newcastle because you offer them money, what James is worth, and Leicester want more money? Or Leicester's just to say, you know what, we're going to take the money, but he's going to bring first.
Yeah, I think we'll actually get Maddison. I think now that he's done with the England games, he was obviously in the squads. You see videos of these guys and pictures. They all seem to get on really well with one another. He could end up at Spurs, but he's not going to get Champions League football at Spurs. And
you can have London though. Go on.
Yeah, you could.
Well, he's not going to get Champions League this year, Stu, and he's not going to get it next year because if Kane leaves them, they are in a world of pain. They've got an Australian manager coming in who's been a complete success in Scotland, but as has every other failed Premiership manager that's been in Scotland and then come down. You know, let's be honest. It's not a barometer of how good you are if you can lead Rangers or Celtic to a league win, is it? I think bloody I could do that. You know, I played Football Manager as well. You know what I mean? So it's I think you're right. I think we will. I think Maddison will not. I don't think he's the sort of person who sort of down tools or anything. But I think he would say to them, you know, I'd rather. He's going anyway, so he wouldn't want to drag it out and be pre-season training with Leicester. So I think you're right. I think it'll happen sooner rather than later, wherever he goes.
It wouldn't shock me if we see someone like Lascelles go in the other direction as part of the Maddison deal. I know he's from that neck of the woods.
Not on them.
I think he's actually got family that live in Leicester. One of his relatives plays basketball for Leicester. I saw like a couple of years ago. I think like he would be a great fit in the Championship. And I know Leicester have lost guys like Amartey, Soyuncu's leaving this summer, so maybe something like that would make sense. 40 million plus Lascelles. But I wouldn't want to be going to Spurs at this moment in time. There's talk that Son wants out, Kane wants to go.
And I've Son.
Yeah, I'd have him for 100%. Yeah, but
100%.
You see Spurs. There's an issue with Conte. Conte came out, spoke against the club. Levy had issues with Mourinho, issues with Conte. It just doesn't seem like a very settled environment for anyone. And I think if Maddison's really having a think about it, he'd rather be at a place like Newcastle. He'll have experienced the atmosphere. He knows guys like Wilson, Trippier, real experienced England teammates. So you'd hope that he would make the decision to come up to Newcastle.
Him and Callum are both Coventry boys as well, aren't they? They're both from the same area. And so, they've got that link there. Fingers crossed. We don't know. It's all, everything we're saying is just based on what we're seeing. And mostly it's in the press. So, you take everything with a pinch of salt. But it does seem more to me in the last few weeks that it looks like he's more likely to be coming our way. And there's been a scrabble of like what I'd call lesser established like news reporters that have come out, and that London based mostly, that are saying that he wants to go to Tottenham. There's none of the larger sort of more reputable people are coming out really saying that now. Most people are sort of pushing it as if he wants to come to the Toon. So we'll see. Anyway, like you say, I'm not worried one way or another. If we don't get him, we'll get something else.
Agree. The thing is, so at the end of the day, it's gone on too long now. I mean, I'll give him to the weekend about Maddison. If he wants to come, cool. If he doesn't, don't. If he wants to go to London, I said on Steve's show yesterday, if he wants to go to London, cool. Let him go to London. They wish him the best of luck as well. Newcastle have signed Barella. So much good technical player. Do you think Barella, Guimaraes got good connection? Well, Inter Milan's not going to sell him to us 50 mil. He doesn't want to leave Inter Milan. And Inter want between 80 and 100 million quid. Right, that's the market value battle here. And I'll tell you what, this guy is brilliant. He really is a fantastic midfielder. One of the best midfielders in the world. He's got effort. He's got a lot. And I follow his career in Italian football. Maddison brings class. I'm jealous you're getting him. We haven't got him yet, Luca. Spurs wants him as well. Let's just sort of sly Stu. I mean, what it is, right? I mean, they got the release clause to 60 million quid. That's only to the end of the month. After that, it goes back up again. Do you think Leipzig are pricing him out of the move to Newcastle?
I've got no idea, to be honest. I saw something about that. I think the deal was that the release clause is only live until the 1st of August.
Yeah. I think there's a 14-day window, a 2-week window where you can sign him. Yeah, I think that's
until like the 15th.
Yeah.
But you never know. Honestly, these are just names getting touted around in the media right now. I may as well go and turn on FIFA, see who the best 10 players are in Europe, and start writing articles about them online saying that we're in for them.
That's what they're doing.
that feels like what they're doing. I think that these guys will want big wages. Their agents are touting them around to get them big wages because they get a cut of that. So, he looks good. I'd take him if it was the right fee, if it was the right deal for the club, but you just never know.
Yeah, he does. Like I really like the look of him. Again, I'm like you, Stu. I haven't seen enough of him. I've seen him play against England, and he was quality. When they beat us 4-1 or whatever it was, he had a good game then, and that's way before he was linked with the Toon. And that's really, being honest, I think that's the only game I've actually seen him play a game in where I thought yeah, he's class. He looks quality. And he looks like he's got all the attributes to do it in the Premier as well. Like, he's strong, he's great on the ball. He's got something we haven't got as well. He can crack a ball from anywhere, you know, like Maddison as well. Like they can hit a long distance shot, which I think is something that we've been severely missing. I know Bruno will hit one, but that's not Bruno's game. He just does it if he gets in that position. But if you get someone like a Maddison or a Szoboszlai, they will put it in the back of the net 50% of the time rather than 10% of the time. So, you know, like I do think he would be quality. Personally, you know, I think he's probably worth what they're asking for him, having the limited amount of knowledge on him that I have. And I just look against what we paid for Gordon. We paid 40 million. For me, he's more of a finished article than Gordon. Gordon's going to be great for us, I'm sure of that, but it will be probably this season, next season, whereas I think he could come in and you know, if there's him, Bruno and Big Joe, that would be scary, you know. So
yeah,
I'd like to see him.
Yeah. So that's yeah, I mean, you touched on Szoboszlai, so he got fined £25,000 for light up a flare after they won the German Cup. Naughty boy.
Oh well.
And he celebrated, he posted it with a flare to celebrate the win the German Cup. And you know what as well? I mean, I tell you what, he wants out to Leipzig now. He wants out with Leipzig. I know that's a fact. But we'll see what happens in the summer with this guy. Other news to tell you about as well. We have been linked with this German lad, right? I've never heard of him. Plays for Hertha Berlin. I have no idea. I don't watch the Bundesliga, by the way. I don't know who this guy is. And 1.5 million as well for Hertha Berlin. Just got relegated for the Bundesliga, by the way. And I just don't know who he is. But I've got to get him up, like, you know, who he is. And excuse me, because I've never heard of him. Never heard of this guy. His name is Derry Scheinhant. Never heard of this guy. According to a posted Telegram, Mike McGrath saying that it could be available for 1.5 million. Right? He scored 10 goals and 10 assists, by the way, and he's like 21 years, 20 years old, 21, something like 20 years old, 6'1". And listen, he's registered 8 goals, 2 assists from 12 regional northeast reserve outings. We won't talk about him too much because I got no clue who this guy is. But
what's his name?
His name is Scheinhardt, Derry Scheinhardt. That's Ashel's name.
Never heard of him.
Ashel's Derry Scheinhardt, whatever his name is. But I can't pronounce it anyway. But no. I used to just pluck at any name to make the winders up, by the way. Lads, who would you sign as centre back for cover? Who would you sign in as centre back for cover? I'll say Kimi Yai, but it's gone to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, that's the obvious, well, the best choice, isn't it? I don't know. I think that's the one. That's the one that Kim's the one that would be that jumps out at me. There's the other kid, but he's left-footed. I can't remember his name now. You've caught us on the up there. We were linked with him like this time last year when we got Botman. He's left-footed, but he can play on the right-hand side. I just can't remember his name. Oh God! But there's a few we've been linked with. But to be honest, it's another position where, for me, I'll be honest, and people might not agree, but when Lascelles has come in, he's done okay. You know, I
agree.
Sorry, I've just muted myself. He's not let us down. It's not a position that I'm overly worried about because we could bring Burn in, and I know there's this left foot, right foot thing that people worry about. But I'm not being funny. How many centre back pairings have you had where they've both been right-footed? There's been absolutely loads over the history of time where you've had 2 right-footed like centre-backs playing together. You don't have to have a left foot, right foot, you know. And so I'm not too worried about centre-back because we've got Big Dan who can come in if Cher gets injured. I'm more interested in the left back position, you know. That's the position I think we need to focus on myself personally.
Agree. Yeah, Tony Robinson's got a year left on his contract, and if he does a new deal, I think Fulham will probably get rid. And that's a shame because Marcus Silva loves him. And That is the thing. It looks like the game's going to be waterlogged on the pitch. McGregor got the goal for Scotland, but the water is waterlogged and too much water. And Leicester said, and Dicker, I can tell you
that's
now,
it, Staples. Yeah,
he's off to Roma on a free buy.
Is he?
Yeah, he could cross off the list. He's off to Roma on a free buy.
That's who I was thinking about, though. Staples can read my mind. She's good.
Play for Eintracht Frankfurt as well. 5 seasons there, and he's off to Roma on a free buy. And I want to talk about a little bit about Joe Linton, yeah. And Stuart, go with you. Got his first cap, scored a goal. Then he's got another cap tonight against Senegal, I think it is, I believe. What a year he's had. He's gone from figure of fun under Steve Bruce into a top quality player.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, what's your take on that? Joe Linton.
You know, I remember the Norwich game when Kieran Clark got himself sent off, and it might have just been the best thing that could have happened to us as a club at that moment in time. Joe Linton got shifted backwards into midfield. Prior to that, he'd been playing almost as a number 9 or a left winger, and Howe's obviously recognised that he's got a sweet spot in the centre of midfield. I think he's been fantastic on the left of the 3, and even in other occasions where he's played bang in the middle. He obviously deserves the Brazil call-up. I can't think of many players that have done better than him, certainly in the Premier League this season in that position. If you look at the distance covered, the work rate, the tackles he's made, interceptions, headers, he's top of all the stats. So he deserves his place. If you've got guys like Paqueta, Casemiro and Bruno getting in every squad, then Joe Linton definitely deserves it to be there as well. So it's really positive for us to have that exposure, and you know, he's an asset for the club at the end of the day. So long may his value continue to rise.
Yeah. And Ian, it looks like Carlo Ancelotti is going to be Brazil's head coach in a year's time when this Real Madrid contract runs out. He's going to be the Brazil national team boss, and the World Cup's in 2026 in America, Canada, and Mexico. I fully expect Joe Linton to be picked by Carlo Ancelotti, and if
I do.
That'd be a dream job. That'd top it all off, really.
I'd completely agree. Ancelotti's he's no mug. He's one of the most seasoned managers in world football, and you know, from what I've seen, and again, you know, I only saw the highlights of the Brazil game the other day, and I watched I know we mentioned it. I mentioned it on Steve's show when we were both on yesterday. The highlight package for the whole game was 9 minutes long on YouTube, and Joe Linton's individual highlights were like 3 minutes long, and it was like he literally ran the game for Brazil. He was almost, you know, until he got took off in the 60th minute or 67th or whatever it was, and Bruno came on. He played that Bruno role. He played the sort of not the number 6 role, but the playmaker role, feeding the ball. He was everywhere, and he looked, for me, he was the best player on the park. And I think that's recognised. It sounded like it was recognised by the interim manager, whatever his name is. I can't remember his name, sorry. But it sounded like he was appreciated. And at the end of the day, yes, you've got these great midfielders. You know, let's be honest. I would put Bruno in before him. I would put him, the different players, and they play different positions. So I know that seems a bit of a strange thing to say, but I would, you know, if you're looking at the likes of like you mentioned, Casemiro and Bruno and everyone, then yeah, you know, he might not get a start in every game, but he's worth a squad place. If you've got Fred in the squad, he doesn't play too badly for Brazil, but I've never seen him run a match. I don't think the lad could run a bath. You know what I mean? So like he's a much better player, technically, physically, everything than Fred. So yeah, I can't see him getting moved out of the squad soon.
Yeah, kind of have to agree. I mean, Brazil's got lots of players coming through for Flamengo, Palmeiras, São Paulo, you know, Corinthians as well.
They're all going to sign for us as well, aren't they? So it's buzzing.
I hope so. I hope so. Be nice though, will it? It'd be nice though. Says, but Alan, they only got 6 to 8 guys sweeping the water away. Weirdly insufficient. It looks like that game's going to be called off, by the way, and they're going to have to play the game the next year. And got it for Scotland, by the way, because they're having a good time. So yeah, what about you, Stu? We talked about Joe Linton, didn't we? And he's got 2 years left on his contract as well, by the way. And surely they got offered a new contract. They've got to be aware of this.
I'd imagine so. I think he'll probably be another one that in the summer, when a lot of these players come back, they'll be offered new deals. It's tough to do any business at the moment, whether that's retaining your existing players, bringing new players in. Half the world's on international duty. So definitely after international duty's over, I think he'll be top of the priority list with the likes of Bruno to get them signed on to long-term deals.
And you've seen the way that the club runs things as well. They're not stupid. You know, the new strip got launched. Obviously, you know, in conjunction with the Blade and Races Day and obviously the Sam Fender concert, and everything they do is thought about. It's not manufactured. It's they've structured it. They're not just going, oh, we'll hide some shit news in because there's an international break like the previous people did, you know. No names mentioned because we're not allowed to swear on John's show too much. It wouldn't, but you know,
sorry. Yeah, I was going to say it wouldn't shock me if they got Bruno and Joe Linton both to sign new contracts and then announce.
I think that.
Like to your point, you know.
I think that 100%. I think Bruno has to get a new contract because it would be completely unfair for him not to be. His contract is not. It's not reflective of the impact and the and his worth to the team. It's just and nobody could disagree with that, you know. And Big Joe's contract's not that good. I can't remember exactly what he was on, but it was right down with some bit part players in the squad, you know. It wasn't a massive wage. So again, I think Joe's done enough to warrant being on par with certainly some of the new signings. You know, and get a decent contract. And I think a lot of the players will automatically be falling into new contracts anyway, because I'm sure as long as they've got a hole in my bottom that they'll have had qualified for Champions League and you get a wage increase, you know, in the contracts. Well, they've qualified for the Champions League. So I think a lot of the players will be new signings anyway, will be shifted up automatically by that. But someone like Joe, who's been around longer, I think he definitely deserves to be on a higher contract. But we've just got to, that's the hard thing for the club. Although we're getting the new Champions League money that's coming in, which is massive, also there are new expenditures that go out because of that, you know, that'll be taken into consideration with FFP, because wages are taken into consideration against the financial fair play, you know, as are transfers. So it's not just like, oh, we've got another 50 million here or whatever it is, you know. You have to take into consideration that it might even be the case that some of these players, you know, Bruno might already have an agreement that he goes on to 200 million. You know, like 200,000, not 200 million.
Well, I think it's worth that 200 grand a week. I could tell you exactly how much Joe Linton's on a week. This is shocking, guys. He's on 86k a week.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't a massive amount.
I could tell you right away, 286k a week. I'm sure Jason's court case, his wage is 43k per week. No, it's 80. He's on 8. That was halved. He's on £86,000 a week, and that's why Rafa Benitez got absolutely peeved off about this sort of thing. But talking of Rafa Benitez, it could be back in management. Celta Vigo. Yeah, I wish him every success on that as well.
Yeah, I've seen that today. I've seen something linked that he was going back in. I've not had a chance to look at anything, to be honest, today, but I did. There was something that I seen flash up that he was back in. So it's Celta Vigo, yeah.
Yeah, Celta de Vigo, which is based in northern Spain. So yes, it could be back in football. it'd be interesting to see how much it's going to be worth a season. I don't think he'll get 6 million a season there. I doubt it very much. But just quickly went on to Sadio Mane. I don't know if you see the clips from the other day, right? I mean, one of the MP asked him the question about him being linked to Newcastle United. By the way, he's got a market value of around 45 million euros, 40 million quid, right? 7 goals, 5 assists, and 25 appearances for the Senegalese. Used to play for Liverpool, of course. He had that punch-up with Leroy Sané, got suspended, and he said, never say never. Now, Sadio Mane, he's on mega bucks a week at Bayern Munich. 31 years old. Would you take him, Stu?
100%. 100%. He's absolutely world class. I think him, Salah, and they absolutely dominated the league for a long time, for a couple of seasons, certainly. He knows how to score goals. He assists a lot of goals. He's got all the experience in the world. He also seems to be a nice guy to go with that.
Great.
I think he is someone that won't sign. I can't see it, but if he was offered to us, then I would bite someone's arm off for sure.
The thing is, though, Stu, he said, never say never. Never say never. Do you know what I mean?
That's what he's going to say, though, isn't it? You know,
he's going to say that, isn't he? Never say never. But for me personally, I'll go for a younger player. For me, look, he's been fantastic for the Premier League. Yeah, he's won everything at Anfield. But the thing is, though, Ian, he's going to be thinking, you know what? I should come for the last payday. I don't care. I'll come after the I just want the money. I want everything at Liverpool. I want everything, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carling Cup, and also the Champions League. What else can I do in England? And that's
well, if he wants a payday, he should go to the Saudi League and then get a loan to us.
Thank you.
That'll be the payday. He's not going to get £350,000 a week coming to Newcastle at the moment. And that's probably why he said never say never, because maybe in 2 or 3 years' time, if he was still performing at the top level, which is not beyond the realms of imagination that he would be, because he's only 31, and you see some of the players that are producing world-class performances into the late 30s, mid to late 30s, you know. He is that sort of quality that he could do that. He doesn't look like he's lost any pace. He's still, you know, he's still a good footballer, a great footballer. But there's no way that Newcastle will pay that amount of wages at the moment, unless he will take a drop, and then I just can't see that happening. There's plenty of teams out there that can pay that sort of money, wages for him, and we aren't one of them this season. For me,
no, definitely not. For me, I'll just say get on the pass because I'd
love him.
I do as well. But I just don't think it's going to be worth the money. Not for me. Go for a younger player. So it's going to be hungry player. As simple as that. I mean, Kvaratskhelia will Napoli be fantastic. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. Let's go for some more comments as well. I'm sure Jay's Corkay's wages were 43 a week. This has been another great show. Thank you very much, Jules. Great guys. Lovely chat too. And hit those likes and share on the way out as well. We are going to wrap it up there, guys, because it's done for another sort of fell. We went through quite a few names as well. We spoke about Joe Linton as well. So, again, guys, did you enjoy coming on tonight?
Loved it, mate. As always.
Thanks again,
John. No problem. It's your second time as well. And it's just gutting not going to be on Thursday for the Real Talk podcast. We're going to talk about season tickets as well and what we could do about it. You know, people's having problems. Talking about season tickets, I mean, for me, I've just about done mine. I mean, I've gone through the direct debits section as well, and I just got through. So I got my season ticket, all done. Got my tickets booked up as well, all done. So here we go.
It is, isn't it?
It is. But this electric ticketing as well for the season is a joke. I don't know if that's going to work.
We'll have to see what happens. You know, it's... they've got to do it, I suppose. It's the way that the world is now. So they've got to do it. So now's the best time to do it while, while everything's going great. Implement it now. Get everybody on board with it. So I don't disagree with anything they're doing. I just think it's going to be an hard graft to get some of the older school people to jump on board with it. But
yeah,
I think they've got another option from what they say anyway. There's another option for those people who can't do the electronic ticketing. So I'm sure the club will come good with that side of things.
Absolutely right. And there you go. So, guys, I mean, Stu, where can we find you, please, on your socials, man?
So again, I think I mentioned last week, I'm not big on social media, but if you want to give me a follow on Twitter, I am Islington Mag.
Islington Mag. Yeah, do follow him on social media. Yeah, follow you back, I'm sure. And also follow Louise E. Thompson as well. And she is absolutely fantastic. And Ian, I know you're not on Twitter. Could you please tell us where you can find you?
I'm on Facebook. If anyone wants to find me on Facebook, just Ian Sutcliffe, and that's it.
Thank you.
My wife's just laughing at us for some reason.
Wow, that's cool.
So yeah, no, I'm on Facebook and I'm on YouTube in the comments quite a bit. So a lot of people sort of converse with me on there. So yeah, that's where you find me.
Fantastic stuff. And you can find us there as well. The links are in the description as well. Do follow Islington Mag and on also Ian Toon Trader, Ian Sutcliffe on Facebook as well. And guys, if you like the video, like I see, please like and subscribe. And as always, have a fantastic evening and away the lads.